You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Melissa Pilgrim is our choice for your next Disney vacation. You can reach her at amagicalpilgrimage@gmail.com. We thank her for her support.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's a wildest ride in the Vista.
Welcome back to Miles from Main Street. I am here this week talking about Disneyland. We have not had a good discussion surrounding Disneyland in quite some time, so I am bringing Cory from Beyond the Railroad Adventures from the Lily Bell podcast. Cory, also known as Jungle Cruiser, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to connect with you again. It's been a while. You were on the show quite a while ago. You guys may also recognize his voice from the intro at the beginning for the Disney Podcast family. He's graciously running that for all of the interested podcasts that are part of the Disney Podcast family. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem at all.
We are going to be talking Disneyland, and as I said, some news. We're going to be getting into the Halloweentime that's going on right now, and also some of the fan events that go on at Disneyland. Jungle Cruiser has been a part of some of those, so we'll get the info on those. So. But before you do that, after you get done listening to the show, please go like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button in Apple Podcasts or here on YouTube, and let other people know that you're enjoying the show. Share it with a friend and let them enjoy it as well. All right, dream jobs. We've been talking about dream jobs here, and we actually had a great conversation with a current cast member last week, and she had some great ideas on how to keep that dream job. So, Cory, since you're Disneyland based, I will keep this to Disneyland. What would be your dream job?
I think it's obvious that I would choose the Jungle Cruise skipper, and I'm going to say that up front because that's kind of like first and foremost. I would want to be a skipper. I know they kind of alternate between skipper and and sometimes they go and they work in the tiki, the enchanted tiki room. But aside from that, I would say, hang on one second, I gotta clear my throat. So I would say besides that, I would do anything inside, like Indiana Jones, like when you're inside that one. The Temple of the Forbidden Eye, which you guys don't have over there at Walt Disney World, but it's inside. It's cool. Like the way it looks is amazing. I would, if I'm not going to do Jungle Cruise, I want to be somewhere inside. And the other attraction in Adventureland, the big one, would be Indiana Jones.
So why inside? I mean, the weather out there doesn't tend to get as hot. So why are you worried about being inside?
I sunburn really easily. So, I mean, obviously when you're at Disneyland or even Walt Disney World, when you're outside most of the time, I'm sunscreened up and I'm trying to find the nearest place of shade or the nearest inside attraction. When I'm there, I just love being inside. Like Pirates of the Caribbean, that ride is a total of like 15 minutes plus 30 to 40 minutes in the queue.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the main reasons. It's just because I sunburn really easily, and so being inside is ideal.
I sunburn easily as well, so
Yeah.
I get that. All right, so you are, well, before I do that, Oh man, so I do this once in a while, and I think my listeners have gotten used to it a little bit. But anyway, uh, Jungle Cruise Skipper is something we've talked about. Would be a lot of fun.
Mm.
So yeah, like you said, not a big surprise, and um, I think we all need a little pun in our life once in a while. So
Not to take for granted.
be sure to let us know your dream job, and we will for sure read them on the show. So uh, tell us about Beyond the Railroad.
So Beyond the Railroad is pretty much a spin-off and the same idea as All Aboard, which we created 9 years ago now. We've done every attraction that we kind of wanted to do twice, 3 times, sometimes, some of the attractions. We could have kept it going, and it's, it's a fun show. It's just one of those things where we're going to keep doing the same attractions over and over, year after year. And so we took a little bit of a break, and I always had this idea that if I did another show, it would be kind of a spin-off of this, and it would be called Beyond the Rail, doing attractions correlating to movies in the park, obviously, whether it's Walt Disney World or Disneyland. Like next month, so October, we have coming up. And why it's called Beyond the Railroad, yes, it is mainly a Disney podcast. We are going to go outside the walls every once in a while. So next month we have coming up, we have the Tower of Terror, which I was going to do a month or two ago. But when I started rewatching the movie, they talk a lot about Halloween. So I'm like, okay, that would make way more sense to do this in October and release it on Halloween, which is, and since it's so late in the month, obviously it's the last day, giving a bonus episode, which is where I'm going with the outside the walls beyond the railroad, is we're going to do a Back to the Future episode. That has a train eventually. So we might do 3 of those, 1 for each one. So it's not going to just be, we'll talk about the first one as a bonus here, next month. And then however long down the road, we'll do the second one, and then the third one, which obviously had, like, the big part of that movie is the train. I think anyway, at least the climax, I guess, right? Yeah. But so that's what Beyond the Railroad is. So we'll go and rewatch these movies, or like Pirates of the Caribbean. We didn't really need to rewatch it because we've seen it so many times. But I think the Tower of Terror, you can ask anybody, when did you last see that, or have you even seen that movie? And that was one of those ones where it was an attraction first, then a movie. And so, yeah, rewatching that one was interesting. It's still a good movie. It's not Pirates, it's not Jungle Cruise, but it's still, I think, entertaining. So
now we're talking about Steve Guttenberg.
Yep. That exact one.
I remember watching that when that was coming out, man, and it was like, this is too awesome.
Well, right now I thought it was on Disney Plus. It's not. Like, I don't know why. Like, I figured they would have every movie, especially ones that are attractions. Right. And maybe, I don't know what the deal is with the whole licensing thing. I know Walt Disney World still has it. Disneyland, California Adventure doesn't. But yeah, YouTube. So if you want to watch it, like I did, you watch it on YouTube, and it has the entire movie. It's not like the best quality because it's YouTube, but it's still, you can watch it if you don't own the DVD.
And I want to say we watched it on YouTube, and it's a grainy version, but you still get an enjoyable movie. And yeah, go check that out. That's a good time.
Yeah, so that'll be our October Halloween episode.
Yeah, I feel like that's a rare Disney movie too. Yeah.
And I want to say the first time I ever heard of it, or whatever, was in, I think it's called Off the Page, and that is in California Adventure, and they had the DVD, and I don't know if I bought it or what, but the first time I've ever seen it, like a DVD version, and I don't know what happened to it, but now it's YouTube, which is fine. Most things I watch these days, we're living in that day that streaming is so much easier, and you have to pop in a Blu-ray or something. You're like, oh, this is inconvenient. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah, I'd rather just pull it up. Heck, even having to go find the movies that I've bought digitally is a pain in the butt, and I'd rather just pull it up on a service somewhere. But
so easy, because they have all the services. You just yell into your microphone, hey, I want to watch this, and then here, how many ways can you watch it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right, so You were talking about visiting Disney World. You're hoping to get over there in November.
Yeah.
So you would. This was all pre stuff that we were talking about, but
Yeah.
you were talking about. You were asked. You have one day at Disney World. What one park are you going to go to?
Yeah. Right now, I would choose Hollywood Studios. Is that what's called? That's the full title of the Hollywood. Okay.
Or us old timers would call it MGM.
MGM. Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I went 3 years ago, I have not gotten the full experience, and I don't know when I ever will. I'm working these into work trips. So I go there, sometimes I visit the sales trip. So it was about 3 years ago now that I went. Then I went to Epcot for a few hours, and then Magic Kingdom for a few hours, and then back to Epcot. So I kind of had bounced, back and forth between and it was free to me. So it wasn't, I didn't pay for it. It was just kind of worked in there, and I was going with the flow, and it was weird, but also, like I said, not that I had to pay for it, but the park didn't open until 11 a.m. the Epcot, and I thought that was a little bit interesting because every park I've ever gone to is like 8 a.m. is when they open, and you get like the full day. And like I said, I'm not complaining, but I have checked out Epcot and Magic Kingdom, and obviously I would love to go back to both of them. But Hollywood Studios has a lot of great attractions and things going on, and I haven't been. I wanted to go back then. There was not enough time for it. So the main draw would be I wanted to go on the Hollywood Tower of Terror we just talked about. As I know, it's a different version of the one we had at California Adventure.
I think you had the same version at one time, though, didn't you?
Mm-mm.
No.
The only the parts that I've seen anyway, as far as I've only seen videos of your guys's, it is once you get into the, I guess, elevator, the shaft, that part I guess is the same, but there's you have like a little ride through before you get to the elevator, where the one at California Adventure was just a straight up and down.
Okay.
There was no ride through.
Now that you say that, we got to do the Guardians version when we were out
exactly there. Same exact mechanism, just obviously the motions are a little bit different, video is different, design or the theme is different, but yeah, that's it. You go into the shaft and you go up and down. Oh,
okay. Yeah, we I was wondering about that after riding Guardians, because I'm like, we just like got in and went up. We like didn't.
Yep. They did not change the mechanism, motion, anything. The up and down sequence, yeah, that's different, but yeah, there was never a ride through.
Okay. Did it have the Twilight Zone theme to it at all?
Ours, oh yeah, it definitely did. You know that when you went there on Guardians, the little room where you see Rocket trying to do his thing, that room was where you saw the pre-video of what's the guy's name? I forget his name, the guy who did the Twilight Zone intro. So
oh right, can't think of his name either.
I know it, I just can't think of it. But you got to see that pre-video of him talking about what happened or whatever, and then then the TV goes off, the lights go back out, and you just go out there into the second portion of the line, and then eventually you get onto the elevator. It was all Twilight Zone. It was so cool. Just I imagine your guys is even cooler. Just the dim lights, the creepy attitudes with the cast members, all part of the the experience. So I just love it. So
we just love going through the lobby there. Just that part alone can be worth it. The details that are within there and everything. So
with the spider webs and whatever they had going on, like it's I can't. Yeah, like that's one big draw. There's a few other things. I know there's Galaxy's Edge over there, which is I've heard is a mere 2 hours, which is great. I love that one. That land. Phantasmic, I think, is over there at Hollywood Studios. What I've seen.
Yeah, they have Phantasmic has its own built stage for it.
Right. I definitely have heard that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff. If I've only got the one day, because I have seen the other. I mean, Animal Kingdom. I heard it's cool, but out of the 4, I've seen 2. Animal Kingdom might be a next time thing. So Hollywood Studios is where I would want to land if I'm able to do it. So,
and I think you're right on. If you've seen Epcot and Magic Kingdom, I think Hollywood would definitely be the next one you want to see. It like you pointed out some of those things that it does have already. And yeah, Galaxy's Edge is exactly the same. I knew exactly where I was going when I walked into it at Disneyland.
Right.
Except you guys have a third entrance.
Oh yeah. You know that's crazy about those entrances is they save so much time. If you're back there, we took a wrong turn. I was with the family and I wasn't exactly doing the whole efficient navigation, if that makes any sense. When you're by yourself, you go wherever you want. But we walked around all the way around the Rivers of America to get to Pooh's Corner, that area, and we took a wrong turn. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go back. I love walking through the park. It's not worth it. It's not like we're in a hurry to get anywhere. But if you are, when you're back there, those entrances, depending on which one you come out of and where you're trying to go, can save you a lot of time.
Yeah, that third entrance was kind of nice. We used that a couple of times.
Yeah.
And by third, I mean the one that's in the middle. So
right.
Yeah.
Is your guys is so what the cool thing I'll point out, I don't know if you guys have the same thing when you're going into Galaxy's Edge and back and forth. I don't know if it's multiple entrances, but at least one of them. Maybe it is that middle one where you hear like the railroad sounds, I guess, then like the clanking on the Old West sounds, and then that like eases its way into the Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars more sounding, and it's like a crazy transition when you go under that bridge, which in our case you're going under the railroad.
Yeah, you're not you leave what they call Muppets Courtyard.
Okay.
To go into which is near the Rise of the Resistance side.
Oh, okay.
So you're kind of getting more of like city sounds from there.
Oh, okay. Did they blend it in? Did they blend it in both ways? That's cool. Yeah, yeah.
And the other side is Toy Story Land. So yeah,
that's another thing they have over there that I want to check out, and it's the Slink roller coaster. I don't know how cool that is, or
it's fun. It's really good.
From what I've seen on the videos, it kind of looks like Gadget's Go Coaster. Is it geared towards more like kids, or is it like?
Yeah, I have not been on Gadget's Go Coaster. When we were out there, they hadn't finished the Toontown refurb.
Oh, yeah.
They just opened Mickey and Minnie's. So we got back there, but that was the only thing that was open was the railway. But so I don't know the comparison. I think it's a little bit bigger.
Okay.
Is Gadget's Go Coaster really short?
It's really short. Yeah.
So I think that's the Barnstormer in Magic Kingdom then.
Oh, okay.
So this one's longer. It's still more kid friendly than some, like maybe Space Mountain or something. But
right. I learned the hard way on Space Mountain that 40 inches too short. Took my daughter on there, and when you're a full grown adult, you go on Space Mountain, you don't think about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Barely 40 inches. I took her on there. I was like, what did I do? I would never no, that's too short for that ride, to be honest. Yeah.
She would on there. She gets to sit next to you.
Correct. Yeah.
So how old was she?
3, I think.
Okay.
At the time when I first took her on, I was like, okay, she's 40 inches. She wants to go on. I had to hold her the entire time because she wasn't. Her body wasn't strong enough to withhold, and it's not that bad for an adult, but when you're a kid, that's a fast ride. It's kind of jerky as a kid.
Yeah, not as jerky as Disney World, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I got to go on that one when I was there. I got to do Jungle Cruise. I got to do Big Thunder Mountain. All the I didn't get to do Pirates, but I did a few rides, and then we went back to Epcot. So. Did several attractions there. Didn't fully drink around the world, but I did have a few drinks around the world.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always get worried when people say they're going to do that. I'm always like, just drink a bottle of water between each country.
I don't think I could handle. How many are there?
11.
11. Nope. I had 2 or 3, and I was like, I don't want to. There was one that I had that wasn't good. 2 out of the 3 were good. There was one that I had was more of a purple hot drink. I don't know what it was called. It might have been in Germany. Is there a Germany over there?
There is a Germany, yeah.
And it might have been that, and it wasn't that good.
Okay, I don't know that one. The one that people like to get in Germany is the grapefruit I'm gonna butcher this. Schufferhofer, I think it's called.
That might have been it. I'll have to look that up. It's like a purplish color, I guess, or red.
It's pink.
So I'll look it up and see, but it wasn't. Is it warm? Is it hot or is it cold?
No, it's a cold one.
Oh yeah, this one was more of a hot one.
Yeah, I've had it. It's really low on alcohol content.
Oh, okay.
So people love to get that and just to cool off during the day or whatever. So
Okay, that probably wasn't it because ours was not. It was not cold. There was a breakfast shot over in the British one in England. Yeah, that one was really good.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it was exactly, but I think the chaser is orange juice, and it tastes like it's so good though. It was, so good. It was really good.
All right, I need to know this, guys. You gotta let me know what the breakfast shot is in the UK because that sounds awesome.
It was good. Yeah. And then I had a shot in Mexico, and then we rode the Three Caballeros ride, or what was that ride?
Yep.
That was awesome. That ride was awesome. So
I love that one. I have trouble with that and Small World. I'll get them confused because there's a lot of the same style kind of dolls in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. It's fun.
Yep, that was good. Then I got to do single rider test track, and I was like, that was awesome. So
yeah, you're gonna have to come back and do a Epcot again, though. They're changing that, and everything's pretty much finished on what they've been refurbing, and they tore out the middle of the park and have redone everything. So
yeah,
back and check that out.
There was some construction definitely going on when I was there. So I was there in December of 21, and there was some.
Okay.
It looks like an attraction here and there, but that's the best thing about Disney is it's never finished as long as there's imagination in the world.
Yeah, right.
That's what he said.
All right, so I wanted to get caught up on Disneyland a little bit here. I did not pay too close attention to the expo. I still want to call it the D23 Expo announcements for Disneyland. So hoping you might have a few tidbits, news, anything you can catch us up on there.
Well, there's a little, and I know you guys got it first, but some things I looked up was the Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which have you been and gone on that one over there?
Not yet. We go at the end of October.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll be getting on it then.
So last time I was there was in March, and I definitely saw the construction, and you see all that stuff, and it just looks like it's going to be amazing. And I guess ours opens on, according to one of these sites here, I'm at Disneyland.DisneyGo. So I think it's just Disneyland website. This is just the so November 15th of this year.
Yeah,
that one opens up for us. So can't imagine how long the lines are going to be, or if they're going to do the virtual queue. Is that how it was for you guys at first? I mean, I know you didn't get to go, but virtual queue, it still is, you said?
Yeah, it's still on virtual queue, and it's during the Halloween party, they go to standby. And those lines I've heard have been roughly half an hour. But you've got half the amount of people in the park. So, and they're kind of spread out doing other things. So it's
that's not bad. That's
not too bad.
Yeah. And there's no regular line right now for that one?
No, it's either, I think it's part of the regular multi-pass. So I think you guys kept Genie Plus, right? Yeah, so we got multi-pass now, so you can book 7 days ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
So they have that as part of the regular multi-pass, and then you can then do a virtual queue instead of a standby line.
Okay.
So
yeah, we did that for Rise when it first came out, and we right before the park opens at like 7 a.m. You just go in there, virtual queue, and it's like you get to ride at noon. I'm like, cool, as long as I get to ride sometime during the day, I don't care where I am.
Yeah,
in that queue. Like I'll do other things to occupy my time. And so yeah, this one I'll probably get back in March. There was not really too much that I had. I don't really do news, but the other one, there's some of the things that I saw on the site that are maybe holiday themed, I guess. I saw this one. It was the fireworks. So it's to believe in holiday magic fireworks, which Most of those fireworks shows are good. Don't get me wrong, but Remember Dreams Come True is always my favorite. I don't think they're ever going to top that, if you ask me.
Nope.
And they don't bring it back seasonally or anything like that. I wish they did.
So with Disneyland, it's kind of a rotating fireworks show, isn't it? They kind of have their summer one or spring and summer one, and then it goes into the Halloween, and then there's a Christmas one, right? And kind of rotate through them every year.
Right. I don't see a Halloween one on here, but yeah, I have seen them before, the Halloween version fireworks. And those are fun too. You know, there's the Jack Skellington that comes out. I don't know if they still do it. Honestly, I don't pay too much attention to the fireworks shows and their themes because I think I got so spoiled with Remember Dreams Come True that every show after that has just been, I don't want to say a disappointment, but nothing that I'm like too excited for, I guess.
Okay.
So I don't pay attention to those. I will say this though. I don't know if it's the same over there. I gotta imagine it is because sound is the same everywhere. But when you're staying at a hotel near the parks, the fireworks show is so loud and it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. But when you're in the park, you're right there. You're closer. You're watching it and it's awesome. But when you're not in the park and you're hearing a fireworks show, it is awful. So
so when we were there in February to Disney World, we were staying at the Polynesian, which is across the lake from Magic Kingdom. So we, as much as possible, watched fireworks from there because we were only in Magic Kingdom like one day while we were there. So I think we watched Happily Ever After 3 or 4 times, and most of it was from that beach.
Yeah.
And I have been in the area when fireworks are going off. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm always looking forward to them. It doesn't seem to bother me as much, but I do know what you mean. Like, even if my neighbor starts lighting stuff off.
4th of July, it's like, yeah. But it's funny you said the Polynesian is because I in my head, I was actually thinking the firework experience I got when I was there in 3 years ago. I was sitting at Trader Sam's and there was, there's always the live music outside. He stopped playing. I'm like, that was weird mid-song like that. But whatever. Fireworks started going off. I'm like, that's why he stopped playing. I get it now. He knew exactly what time it was when he stopped playing. Fireworks started going, and I'm like eating my food and drinking my drink. I'm like, man, I timed coming to this place perfectly. I didn't know the fireworks were about to start while I was sitting out. I had to sit outside because it was a 2-hour wait to sit inside. So I thought I had like a perfect seat for the fireworks show, even though that's not why I went over there to the Polynesian. But you're right. You can see it clearly. At least from Trader Sam's. I don't know where the lagoon is. Is it like near Trader Sam's area?
It's in that area, yeah. What you're talking about is the Tiki Terrace, which is the outdoor portion, and that is that kind of is in the back of I guess it's between the Grand Ceremonial House and the pool. Okay. Yeah. And if you were to go to the other side of the pool from there, that's where the beach is to Seven Seas Lagoon.
Oh, okay.
So and there's a small beach that people will congregate on. We found that you had to get there at least half an hour before to be able to find a spot. We got there one night an hour before just so we could grab a couple of chairs.
Oh, okay. Nice.
The chairs are kind of limited, but you can bring a blanket out there or something that's in the sand too. A lot of people do that, but
nice.
Yeah. So we have been inside the Grand Ceremonial House at Ohana for dinner and had the fireworks going off. They pump the music in there. They do the same thing at the Contemporary, and they do it over at Grand Floridian as well. So all the way around there, you can find a spot that plays the music and watch fireworks. So
nice. I was going to go to the Grand Floridian, but they so at the Polynesian, the monorail was when it came, no line, got right on. I didn't even think about it, because we're at Disneyland, it's an attraction. You have to have a park ticket to go on the monorail. Where at Disney World, it's just transportation, get you from place to place. We pull up to the Grand Floridian. I was trying to get to Disney Springs, and me never being there before, I know there's a better way. but I'm a full-grown man. I wasn't lost or anything. I just didn't know the fastest route. So it took me 2 monorails and 2 buses, even though I know for a fact there's a better way. So yeah, I was a rookie. I still am. I go back there now. I'm still a rookie. Would not still know the fastest way without having a car. But I was going to get off at the Grand Floridian, but the line to get back onto the monorail was so long. I'm like, why is this so much different? It was during the holidays, so I'm sure everyone was checking out that gingerbread house, which is what I wanted to check out. But I was like, I'm not getting back in that line. There's no way. So I didn't stop. I didn't get off.
We actually did that when we were down there in December. We got off of, it was the same idea. Like we jumped right on the monorail, got over to Grand Floridian and got off, and we saw the crazy line and we're like, what is that? So
yeah,
we went and did the gingerbread house, did a few pictures by their tree, and then went back to get onto the monorail. And yeah, it was still a long line. And we're like, okay, I guess that, and it was just that busy. People just wanted to be there. And it didn't take long, though.
Okay.
It was mostly a line just to get through security. And then I think we got, on the next monorail that pulled in. So
that's not bad. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I figured I'd be way too long. And I'm like, I don't have time for this right now. So, yeah, because nothing is close to each other. If you're used to Disneyland like I am, you go to Disney World, nothing is near each other. Like you go to Trader Sam's at Disneyland, you walk right outside, you're already in downtown Disney, which is Disney Springs, not at Disney World. Polynesian, you're 7 miles away. I don't really know the distance, but you're far.
Yeah. And for you, next time you go, pretty much anywhere you want to go, just jump on a bus and you can find a bus that's going to that direct location.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So unless you're going hotel to hotel.
Yeah, no, in this case, it was just how it worked out. My cousin was actually happened to be in town, and my cousin lives in New York. So it's not like I see my cousin here all the time. And I was like, oh, we should meet up at Disney Springs then for a drink. And we did. So that's why I was trying to get there. It took me an hour altogether to get from Polynesian to Disney Springs. And I'm sure there's, like you said, buses and other faster routes, but it was kind of an experience for me. I was like, whatever. If I was a kid, I'd be like, where am I? And I'd be all, afraid. I wasn't afraid. I was like, this is kind of like a Walter Mitty adventure.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that movie, it's an awesome movie, but
that's fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some great news items that you had with Disneyland. I know Tiana's, the one thing I knew about that is that the area back there for load and unload is really tight, so that slows them down a lot, and that's why they're a little behind, is what I've been hearing.
Okay.
And yeah, and Haunted Mansion queue area. They've reopened the ride, but it's a virtual queue because there's no space to hold the line, is what I understand.
Right. I was going to kind of bring that up too. I've heard that same thing. And I don't know what they're doing exactly, but I have also heard murmurs of a gift shop. I don't really know what's going on, like with that whole thing, what they're building and what they're doing over there.
Yeah, there is going to be, I think, over on the not on the Tiana's Palace side, but the other side, there's going to be a gift shop.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like I don't do much news. It's like any like a sports, like for the draft. I don't know what's going on. As soon as the season starts, I'm all in. So as soon as I see these new things, I'm all in. But I don't really pay attention to too much prior. It's kind of weird. I don't know why I do that, but I do.
It's all I really got for Disneyland. I mean, I try to watch live streamers from there, and I'm watching Disney World live streamers as well. So, it's, other than the news, that's about all I got. So,
right. What was I going to say? Halloween now starts in August.
Yes.
It's the end of August, and it used to be half of September, which is still, it's not October yet. I'm weird that, but August now, it's like it's not even close. But that's what they want to do half the year, I guess, for Halloween, and then I'm more talking about Nightmare Before Christmas. I think that starts in August when the Halloween season starts and goes all the way through January.
Right. Yeah, the
overlay.
Right. Yeah, because I think they shut down Haunted Mansion at the end of July, even, don't they, to get it?
They would have to now. Like it's a 2-week process, I heard, or it takes them a long time to do the overlay, and then they shut it down again to change it back.
They delayed shutting it down when we were there, so we got caught during the shutdown to clean up Jack's mess.
Oh,
so we didn't get to ride a Haunted Mansion. That was the only one that we were upset about. There were a couple other things that were shut down, but that was the one we were upset about. So now I have to go back.
You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been on the original one at Disneyland? I was just asking what the differences are like between your guys's and ours.
I have not rode Haunted Mansion at all at Disneyland.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot tell you that. I can tell you Big Thunder, one goes to the right, the other goes to the left. They're kind of mirror imaged. But yeah, we did not get on Haunted Mansion. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's a good attraction to get on. And they used to give away the death certificates, which they haven't in years. Same with Jungle Cruise, and I'm big on the maps, but they don't do that anymore. I'd like those little trinkets. Even even if they sold them in the gift shops, they could make $5, $10, whatever. I'm not saying but people would pay for that. It's like a cool little souvenir that's not terribly expensive. They used to be free, but no, not anymore.
Yeah, everything costs something nowadays. So
right.
Yeah.
Except for pin trading. The trading part doesn't cost anything. The pins are a lot, though.
Yeah, they are. And I have told people on the show before to head on out to eBay and buy pins for that trading purpose. I don't think it's a good idea for trading with people or to sell online or anything like that. But if you're going to trade with cast members, get the cheap ones on eBay.
Especially if you have kids, give them each like 5 or however many you buy, and hey, you guys have 5 pins to trade. Go, to the cast members. These days, it's mostly the little pin boards, what I would call them, set up instead of them. They don't care about those pin boards. The ones that don't belong to them, they don't care. So it's just set up. And it's on the honor system for the most part.
Right.
And we're pretty honest. So it's like, okay, I'll trade this one for this one, and they're not even like looking at you.
No.
So not that I would do this, but anyone who wanted to take some, they probably could, and no one would say anything. But of course, my kids are, pin for pin. You put one in, you take whatever one you want off of this board. And that's what we kind of do. And it's fine. For a while there, they just weren't doing it. COVID rules, they weren't even doing it. But now that they're doing it again, it's like, it's kind of fun to stop real quick and do it.
And recently at Disney World, at least, they've given the lanyards back to the cast members to carry around themselves. And I know my kids enjoyed it a lot more when they were able to talk to the cast member.
Right. Yep.
And the cast member was interested at that point too. They would play little games, like they'd have a couple of them turned the other way so you didn't know what it was, and you could make a guess at it or whatever, or see what you get. But then, yeah, like just even the pin boards are fun. So the first time we ever went to Disney World and took our kids, we didn't know this pin trading thing.
Yeah.
We were on the Magical Express, may it rest in peace, on our way to, I think we were staying at Pop Century that year. And there was a lady behind us on the bus, and she was, she had pulled out her great big bag of pins that she had bought on eBay, and she was handing them out to her kids, and they were getting them onto their lanyards. And so we ended up buying starter kits for our kids while we were there, and they got hooked onto it. So the next time is when we were that lady on the bus handing out pins.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, the kids love doing it, and it just, it gives them something to do in between standing in line, and no harm, no foul,
Right.
So
yeah.
Halloweentime, you did mention that. How are the Halloween festivities going?
From what I've heard, they're fine. It's there's one of our loyal listeners of the show who had talked about when she went with her kids, when you go to the it's now the Oogie Boogie bash, I think it's called. I've never been to one of those, so I don't know. But she said, when you get in there, do everything, do all the attractions. And her kids are a little bit older, but they still wanted the candy. And she said, at the end, that's when you can go through and get all the candy because everyone's doing that. It's kind of like when Fantasmic is going or whatever fireworks show is going. If you've already seen it that trip, go to the attractions and there's no lines. So she said she did it that way. And it was a better way to do it because everyone's worried about the whole candy and the lines, that the attractions are just being kind of like, there's nobody there. But then you go back at the end, you still get your candy.
Okay.
That's just what I haven't done it or tried it. And I don't know if it's caught on, but she did that. And like I said, I've never been to one of those events. We've never paid extra to go to one of those events. But from what I've seen, everyone's, every year they're loving it. So.
And I think that the rumor has always been like with the Halloween party in Florida is that they bring out these buckets of candy and they're not allowed to bring them back in with anything in them. They have to bring them back empty.
Oh, nice.
And so the later you go in the night, the bigger the scoops become. So, I would think it's the same idea with Oogie Boogie. Then they, the end of the night's coming. They're going to start giving you as much more. And that way you don't have to carry it around all night either. So
yeah, that's 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, and you still get the best of both worlds. Like that's the only reason why I would want to pay extra to go is like, oh, there's not going to be any lines for these attractions, and it's and it's not like a ghost town, no pun intended. I don't want to go to a theme park honestly, like by myself, like with nobody there. That'd be kind of weird. But I don't want it to go with super big crowds,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
During the week.
The Halloween party in Florida is nice. The first time we ever did it, there was nobody in those parks. You could do whatever you wanted and not have to wait in line. But over the years, it's grown in popularity and they've sold out. And, it gets busier and busier. And you do have to have a plan now. You have to treat it like a regular park day and find what you want to get done during the party. But outside of that, there's still a ton of fun. There's extra activities to do and different meet and greets and the ride lines are still pretty short for the most part, save for a couple. So
which park do they have that one at?
Magic Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oogie Boogie is in DCA, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So they closed that one down at like 6. I think it's 6. And then, so if you're planning a trip around that, plan your DCA day. So typically these days we just do one park at a time and we'll plan our DCA day around that. If we go during the holidays or the Halloween holiday, I guess. So we go to Disneyland on the day they're doing the bash. I think it's every other day. They don't do it every day.
Okay.
So it makes it, so if they're doing it that day, that's the day we do Disneyland. And then the next day when they're not doing the bash, we'll do DCA.
Okay. And we're having that same thing with our trip coming up is we want to make sure that we see Happily Ever After while we're there. So we have to make sure we don't go on a party night to the Magic Kingdom because we want to make sure we see our fireworks show. So
right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The last thing I thought we'd get into is a couple of fan-led events that are done. I know Dapper Day is done on both coasts, and that's where people will dress up in, a lot of it is the 20s and 30s kind of roaring outfits, right? And those are done, I think, once a year, maybe twice a year.
I think Dapper is one. I think they're all once. But what I've heard is that I don't even know what month it is. I couldn't tell you. But people that I have talked to that have done it, it's not the right time of year for that get up. And everyone's always like hot, super hot in the outfits that they bring.
I seem to remember the last time it happened, like it seemed like it was a hot day and people were all dressed up like that. So I could see that. That's difficult.
I'll have to look it up to see what month it is. But like I said, I've never done that one. And then there's the two that are kind of similar to each other. There's Adventureland Day and then Tikiland Day, which are done give or take 6 months apart. So one's in March and one's in September. I've only done Adventureland Day, Tikiland Day, but they just happened. But and Yoho Joe, he told me about it in I think it was late 22. He even mentioned it and asked me if I was going to go, and I was like, oh, I forgot that was even an event. I totally forgot about it. Let me look into it. I wasn't even sure I was going to go, because you hear this idea and it's like, okay, how I gotta be able to go and afford this without the family, because and in 23 I did get to go. He unfortunately did not make it that year, but I was like, if you didn't mention it in late 22, I wouldn't even thought about going. And then I ended up going, and it was awesome. The way they gave Tiki Tony, and then there's Skipper Freddie. I'll give them shout outs because they do a great job putting this event on. They also work with the park too, because some of the things that they do are for cast members only. So they get to go up on the little ledge over Jungle Cruise and, start the ceremonies or whatever. Okay. And so yeah, it starts off with like a picture. Then you go into the tiki room, and you do what we have called the Tropical Hideaway. I don't know if you guys have anything similar over there, but it's Dole Whips and all these different flavors of Dole Whip. So if you get back there, I don't know if they sell it at Walt Disney World, but it's the mango chili Dole Whip. I'll send you a picture when we're done. It was the best one I've ever had. It's like $9. It wasn't terribly expensive. Okay. And I ate that while sitting watching the Tiki Room show. It was amazing.
I have not heard of that one. I know that Aloha Isle is what it's called near the Tiki Room in Disney World. And okay. That's where you get your Dole Whip. And they'll rotate through a few different flavors here and there. The popular one right now is coconut Dole Whip. And I think people are even mixing the pineapple and the coconut together, and they're really liking that combination. So
okay, nice.
But I have not heard of a mango chili lime.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
I'll try to pull that up while we're talking too, but just to send it to you.
Okay.
Then then there's like a scavenger hunt that they do.
Okay.
They do. So Jungle Cruise is one of the, you get on that attraction. The thing is, you're kind of on your own after the opening ceremony. So yeah, there is a schedule to kind of follow, and you're going to get into the Tiki Room with a bunch of other adventurers. You're going to get on the Jungle Cruise if you get there at the right time with a bunch of other, adventurers, I guess. Everyone dresses up as either Indiana Jones or a Jungle Cruise skipper or something to do with the SCA.
Okay.
I wear my skipper's jersey that I got from Official Park Friends. It used to be called the Mattis Hatter, but they're called Official Park Friends. Have you checked them out on their website?
I haven't, not heard of those.
And I don't work for them. So that the way I'm saying this is because I truly do like their stuff. And they have so many different options. You could get lost and you could spend a lot of money. I ended up buying 2 jerseys from them, baseball style jerseys. One is the Oswald one, and the other one is my skipper's jersey, which is like a green color with like a beige, writing. And it's funny because everyone's dressed like Indiana Jones or a Jungle Cruise skipper, but they don't stand out. It's kind of weird. I didn't realize the first time I went there, I didn't realize my skipper's jersey stood out. And I got a lot of like compliments, like, where'd you get that? That's a cool jersey. What is going on with this thing? And I'm like, oh, I tell them where I got it, spark a conversation. But I was like, I did not know that this was going to be what stood out. I thought I was like, I'm not saying being cheap, because those things are not cheap, but that's fun to wear to an event like that, especially, So, but yeah, then there's, like I said, the scavenger hunt kind of ends the events because they go from 10 to 4.
Okay.
So yeah, once you do all the attractions, then there's a big group photo again in the middle of it. Then the big scavenger hunt, which is like an hour or 2, however long. Then there's like a kind of like a meetup at the end of like, okay, guys, thanks for coming, and now go do basically, you have to buy a ticket. Mm-hmm. There's no separate ticket for Adventureland Day. You're just there, and you're so from 4 to midnight, you go with your party or whatever. You're on your own. And this last one, earlier this year, there was about a 4-hour gap between me meeting up with Yoho Joe and the other events. That was kind of solo. And I've never done the park like that solo for any amount of time. It's solo. And it was awesome because there's several single rider attractions. The family's not here. I'm like I'm just solo. And it was pretty fun. So
that would be a lot of fun. I
yeah,
got to do that on my first ever trip. I was able to get off on my own for a couple of hours after a big rain in Magic Kingdom, and yeah, it was awesome being able to just run around without anybody to
right.
worry about. So Adventureland Day, this is just a fan-led thing. It's put together by a group of fans. They work with the park to, because when you get a group of people like this together, the park notices and they don't like it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to work with them to make sure that everything is good.
Right.
And so, like you said, you need to buy a park ticket. Is there another fee at all to take part in everything going on?
Nope. There's not a fee or anything. The only thing they suggest is you text the number, the Adventureland Day number, and they give you all the clues and all the stuff that's going on, the schedule and whatnot. But there's no separate fee, not at all. And that's the thing about it. And it's like I said, it's not a separate fee, but it's always on a Sunday, the first Sunday of March, and the ticket prices on that Sunday. That's just like any other. It's more expensive. But the past 2 years that I've been on those days, I don't think the park is that busy. Maybe because the prices aren't as cheap. I don't know if that plays a factor. But on those days, I've been on weekdays that are busier than that, and it's crazy. But those Sundays are not that busy.
Nice.
Oddly enough,
Yeah. Maybe that's why they work to have that going on
right
that day then. Yeah, no, that's cool. I know I've been getting into Tiki. I've been listening to Joe and his Tiki podcast as well. And so I'd like to get out there for one of those 2 days and check that out. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Not something in Disney World. So
this last time they do have it at Disney World too, the Adventureland Day.
Oh, they do. I didn't know that.
Yep. So on the same day. So there's just another group of people that run that one, and it's, I mean, obviously they're separate. They're across the country. But yeah, I don't know who runs that one exactly, but there is a Walt Disney World page, and then there's also a Disneyland page for Adventureland Day. I'll share those with you as well.
Okay.
Because you said Walt Disney World's closer overall, right? You're kind of like right in the middle.
Well, yeah, we're in Wisconsin, so it's a 4-hour flight out to California, 2 hours, two and a half, depending on tailwind, but 2 to 2.5 to get down to Florida. So it's a little easier.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, no, those events I'm gonna try and make it an annual trip, like every single year. Drive out there, stay a night, 2 nights, really. Lucky this time around, Yoho Joe was there. The first night we kind of hung out. We went to a brewery, and then we went to Trader Sam's. It's part of the fun. We're gonna go to Trader Sam's and grab a drink and just hang out. The night before Adventureland Day, it was kind of rainy on both days, which it wasn't like a downpour, but it was just rainy, and it almost fit perfectly with what the theme was. So I don't know, it's kind of fun.
That's perfect. Like Walt's weather, I believe, is what they call that, right? It would always be perfect, exactly what he needed. So
right, a little drizzle would never hurt anybody. But I did happen to go with the family in February, just before Adventureland Day, and that was a downpour. We went to Legoland, and then we went to Disneyland. The Disneyland Day, it rained all day and didn't bother me much, but had the kids, so we had to try to keep them warm, and
right,
it was like that's not a great time for that, but obviously you can't control the weather.
No, you can't.
So
and we were out there in February, and it got cold at night. We had low 70s though during the day, so it was great for us. But yeah, at night, I think I did World of Color in 50 degrees and shorts and t-shirt because somebody had lost their sweatshirt during the day, so I had to give mine away to keep
Dad to the rescue.
Exactly.
Yeah, when I went in December 3 years ago, I brought a sweater just in case, and it never got cold at night. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, in Florida, it really depends down there. Like when we were down there this past December, it was hot and muggy. It was doing the Christmas party and you're sweating your butt off,
Yes, I've been to Wisconsin in February, and it was cold. You know,
Yeah, it is very cold. Well,
like imagine December is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was 8 years ago now, I guess. So
Okay.
yeah. First time I ever saw it snow. Actually, it was 7 years ago. But yeah. So I was 34 years old. I saw it snow for the first time. I've seen snow, don't get me wrong, but I've never seen it come from the sky until I was 34 years old.
I always enjoy hearing that from people when, like Arizona or
Right.
Florida or anything like that. We have a friend that grew up in Madison, and she's in Tampa, and her kids were able to come up this past winter, I think. And her oldest is 12. I think that was the first time she got to see snow and really understand what it was. And it is cold when you touch it. So
and it hurts. It's not like the cartoons where you throw the snow and it just you're fine. No. It hurts.
It can hurt, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, we have snow in like Flagstaff. It's like 2 hours north of where I live. So there's plenty of that, I guess. Not as much as you guys. But that's my experience with snow.
Sure.
It's already on the ground and I get to play in it, so.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, like I don't want to be down there for a hurricane, and I'm sure those people don't want to be here for a blizzard. So
yeah, and they're actually gonna have one soon.
Yeah, the next day or two it's supposed to hit.
Yeah.
So category 3 is what they're thinking it might be when it lands. So hopefully, for those of you that that by the time this hits the airwaves, people will be on the other side of it. So I hope everyone fared well, and let us know how things are going.
Yep, that's right. That's why I get to go down there. My clients are down there, and they're talking about it. So it's like, if we don't get back to you, it's because we're underwater. I'm like, I understand. Don't.
Yeah.
It's like I can't imagine. I mean, I guess I can, but I do understand because I always hear about it from them. So.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I know my sister wrote out a few when she lived down there, and if I was down there, I'd be like, let's get the heck out of here.
Mm-hmm. That's why Arizona's awesome. There's nothing heat, and then you're done. Then you're done.
Yeah.
No earthquakes, no hurricanes, no nothing. Tornadoes, nope.
So Cory, where can we find you?
So you can find me at Disneyland. No, there's Beyond the Railroad. I'm still active on All Aboard as well. That's kind of, I'll post a show there sometimes because it is like a direct spinoff. Same idea with us getting on the railroad, taking it to the movie and attraction. So All Aboard is still active. Beyond the Railroad podcast is the new one. Disney Podcast Family. That's really all of the socials. We're not on Facebook or anything like that, or Twitter. We used to be, but or X, whatever it's called. I'm not active on there really anymore. So just Instagram on those few places where, and if you want to join the Disney Podcast Family, just hit us up. Hit me up on any one of those and we'll get you going. And I think it's pretty simple and fun. It's still fun, once you run out of one podcast, you're like, oh, let me go check out this podcast. It's like you almost could never run out. There's hundreds of episodes out there combined with everybody, so it would take you a while to get through them all.
That's so true. Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and Cory, thank you so much for helping me out tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. I know it's late over there.
Yeah, it's getting to be pretty late. I got an early wake up, so so remember, we have new episodes every Tuesday, and you can find us on more than just Instagram. We're on Facebook and YouTube as well, and we want to know your dream jobs, so let us know what they are, and we'll read them on the show. But as we like to say, some live close, but others don't. So let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.